Welcome back, everyone. As most of you know, a majority of the iPhones that have ever came out have some type of power button on the side. So let's go and cover some awesome power button tricks that you can use on your iPhone. Now this can work, like I mentioned, for most iPhones, but this is on iOS 15 specifically. So you can use the power button by clicking it one time, turning it off, clicking it again to turning it back on. I'm sure most of you know that. And I'm sure most of you also know that if you hold it down, you can access Siri or voice control or some other options too. But you can go ahead and actually modify that side button into disabling Siri or doing something else with it. So if we go down into our settings, and if we click on accessibility, which is right here, and if we go scroll down to side button, which is right here, we can actually configure whether we want Siri to turn on, whether we want classic voice control to turn on, or we just want that button to be off. So if we click off, if you hold it down, nothing happens, which is kind of annoying. If you want the classic voice control, you can actually go and click classic voice control and look what happens. Instead of Siri coming up, you can see we do get our voice control coming up, which is actually pretty cool. I like voice control too. You can always swipe out of it by going like this. You can also enable Siri like this, which is so cool. Now, hopping out of there, I'm pretty sure everyone also knows this, but you can also, if you're ever in a situation where you want to fully power restart your iPhone and it's not responding, you can hold the volume up button and the side button until your phone fully reboots itself, and you just keep holding it down. You can get into this panel and either turn on emergency SOS, or you can slide the power off. Now the next thing is actually something I'm really more happy about, and this is actually configuring your power button. So what we can do is, if we go back into our settings, so we can click on accessibility right here, if we scroll all the way down to accessibility shortcuts, what we can do is we can actually go ahead and configure our power button that when we click it 3 times, we can enable any of these things that we can have on our current display. So let's say we want assistive touch to turn on. So assistive touch is essentially that, button where you can click on it and, click on other things. Well, look what happens if we go ahead and triple click on the power button like this, you'll see accessibility come up right there. So now at this point, you can go and open it up as you normally would, and you can go and use accessibility as you normally would, which is so cool. You can, if you're not familiar with this, there's a lot of different things you can do with it, which is so awesome. Now, let's say you don't want this on anymore. What we can do is triple click it again, and it'll go ahead and go away. Now, we can also turn this off, but we can also turn on some other things. So you can see background sounds. Look what happens. This is a new iOS 15 feature. If we triple click the power button, you'll basically be able to hear some background sounds going on in your iPhone. If you can hear my volume up, and you can hear the background sounds. So again, triple click and it'll go and turn off. And that's another really cool thing. And there are so many different things you can go ahead and modify. So things like increased contrast, things like classic inverts. Look what happens when we click this. We click it and it goes into dark mode essentially. It does dark mode pretty much everything else, which is not good, but you can always turn it off here, and you have standard dark mode as well. You can reduce motion, which if you are not too sure, watch what happens. So we triple click this, look what happens. We go and swipe up, and pretty much there's no animations. It's just, almost instantaneous. It turns on and turns off, just like so. So I think that's awesome, but I'm not a fan of it, so I'm going to go and turn it off. And there's a ton of other options here. So those are pretty much some cool power button tricks. Like I mentioned, the standard ones like turning off, turning on, different things like that. You can also always double tap, and you can actually get into Apple Pay as well. So I don't have it configured on this phone, that's why I didn't really demonstrate it, but I'm sure most of you know that you double tap your power button on these iPhones and you'll basically be able to enable Apple Pay. So those are some of my favorite tricks and tips for the iPhone power button. If you guys have any other questions or anything, let me know in the comment section below. Hit the like button, that would mean so much, but definitely hit that subscribe button. More importantly than everything else, I love every single one of you guys. Hopefully I'll catch you guys in the next video. Peace out till then.